Welcome to another edition of POS, the podcast that finds the piece of shit and things. It's just me and Bobby on this one. We were supposed to have a luscious, is that the right word? Luscious porn star with us, but she's late or not coming. I don't know. I don't want to say not coming. That could ruin her reputation. I guess always coming, right? Is that there's a porn star? You don't want to be not coming. That wouldn't be. Is that a type of porn? Frustrated. I think it is.
Oh, definitely. Like an angry woman, like hurry up and get it over with. Yeah.
That hurry up and over with is that's one, and I also know the other one is like disinterested. Have you ever looked that one up? I looked that up. It's great. Disinterested is fantastic.
Girl's just showing her feet to you and smoking a cigarette, ignoring you.
Or just like, oh, go ahead and jerk off on my leggings. It's like, well, okay, it's a little weird. It's like that sounds worse than having sex because now you got to clean off your leggings.
Also, like, if I wanted that, I'd just ride a bus.
What? You can't jerk off on a bus.
I mean, you get what I'm getting at, though. Like,
kind of.
The fantasy for me would be a chick's into me. Oh yeah, tell me another joke. Tell me how the world really works, Bobby. Explain it to me. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you like that, don't you?
Wait, the wheel goes round? yeah, I like that.
You got to be careful with that because if they go on the bus, you go, no, we're not playing that game. Nope.
Yeah, I'm happy we both know the same song.
This is Professor, not what you're thinking.
Yeah, I like this playlist you got here. Okay, how large was the lamb? It was little lamb. It was a little lamb. Okay, that's what I like to ask you. Why did people, those songs that we've learned, nursery rhymes and songs, what was that thinking of? Like, I never learned anything from them. Maybe memorization or maybe conformity. Was that like to make us all learn to like sing things together and learn words? Was that a way of teaching us to conform, to get us ready to like listen to like our factory owner when we got to working in the shops?
So I think there's two paths to this. One is definitely that, like getting kids not necessarily to conform, but like a way to learn how to sing and harmonize and like get the idea of rhythm a little bit. Right. And then I think the other is like educational purposes. Like the wheels on the bus go round and round. Like Mary Had a Little Lamb was Christians hiding their story, all that stuff. So I think there's.
I thought it was white power. Her fleece was whitest.
Yeah, because she was a virgin, Pat.
Sheep?
Yeah, Mary had a little lamb, the Lamb of God, Jesus.
But the lamb, the fleece was white as snow.
So yeah, because he didn't have any sin. Because she didn't have any sin.
Oh, because Mary and then Jesus is the lamb?
Mary was the immaculate.
Mary's conception. Mary Magdalene? No, Mary, the Virgin Mary.
Mary the mother, yeah. So she was
never even put religion into it before. I never thought of that.
That's literally, unfortunately, where it came from.
Well, it's fortunate. It's fine. They got good psalms.
You don't like the Muslim version?
Mahmoud had a little.
Mahmoud had a ticky backpack. Ticky backpack.
Ticky backpack. I like that a lot better. Ticky backpack. Boom. Oh, dude, they're gonna hear beats in that. Mahmoud had a ticky backpack. Ticky backpack. Ticky backpack. Oh, dude, that would hit. We gotta make that fucking song. Can we do that? Can we do that sketch when I'm on your thing?
We could. Yeah. Let's.
Can we just that down? We just translate it for all the religions and take like nursery rhymes and write like those shit.
I'm down, dude. That's a great sketch idea.
Mahmoud had a ticky backpack. I like that a lot.
Ticky backpack. Ticky
backpack. Who's hitting me up now? Well, too many idiots. All right. Just making sure I'm not getting hit up by the porn star's like, well, I'm sorry I'm running late. It's like it's to your own phone.
It's okay. No biggie. Did she say
that?
No,
she didn't say that. Oh. I'm just saying if they do that now, some people when they're like miss it, they get mad. They're like, I just come on now. It's like,
we'll get them next time. Yeah, no biggie.
I'm good. I think we've done it.
I do the opposite. Like I missed Brandon's message to do his live stream last week, and I hit him up and was like, I'm guessing it's way too late to do it now. I still had like an hour before the show.
Yeah. He probably got somebody else.
He had already had, and was like, yeah, dude, it is, but definitely, but I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'm going to use this to get out of it.
If you guys haven't seen it yet, Bobby was a guest on Brandon the guest on our podcast, the Brandon Bonanza podcast. It's on YouTube. Go look up that up there, Brandon Bonanza.
Now, before you look it up, it's not like this. You know, we're a riot of laughs. You're sitting there, can't watch it in public, or people are like, "Why are you laughing?" This one's more like philosophy, religion, occult, weird, fun, interesting, but it's not as necessarily laughs per minute. That's all.
But if you watch it as much as I did, which is the first 5 minutes, there's a very interesting little piece at the beginning where Bobby talks about Frank. And Brandon
R.I.P.
has been on this show several times since Frank has been gone and said, "Oh, I didn't know Frank was gone." And it's like, and then he said, "Yeah, he's 76." That's when he met Frank. So Brandon's caught 4 years ago in the past. He's 80. And also it's like he's talking. It was very weird to see that. But if you want to watch how a gentleman, and I will give you credit, a gentleman handles the situation. That was weird that he threw Frank at you right away. And you could have gone many angles. In the world of today's podcast and battles and things, you could have been like, "Oh, he was fucking afraid. He left. Or he made he whined." You're like, Frank's great. I miss him. I drove him away. I was mean. And I watched that with kudos. Good
Thanks,
boy.
man.
I appreciated that. And then it was like, now let's talk about Brandon's thought on the gays. And I'm like, I'm out. But if you want to watch a guy who's ready for the apocalypse give his thoughts on Nietzsche, get in that shit. It'd be fun. Listen, Bobby, you're more than just jokes. It'd be fun for people to learn another side of you, like how you deal with boring people.
No, Brandon's great, man.
Listen, no one knows Brandon more than me. Brandon was you before you. Pat Oates' Sad podcast had Brandon forever. And the worst thing I ever did was at one point, I didn't let him talk. It was like Tim Dillon with Ben. I didn't let him talk. And then I let him talk. And that's when it got weird. And he got like, "I need to talk to everyone." I'm like, "All right, well, you need to go then." And then because he left and because I was going through other shit in life and all this stuff was happening, I did a couple of rants on a podcast by myself. And that's when someone sent that to WATP. And that's when Shane Stuck and everything. So Brandon doing all that made it so we got to have the podcast we have now.
And Brandon will tell you that he manifested that for you.
Yes. Yes. Brandon is a wizard.
I like that.
Brandon said that to you normal style. As we all know, I'm a wizard.
I think he was like expecting me to mock him for that. And I was like, "No, man, this is your court. Teach me about the occult." And then most of the end of the podcast is me just going, "Yeah, it's kind of like in the Bible." So if you want to hear religion versus Jesus from a guy who, anyway.
He reads a lot.
Brandon has a very wide breadth of knowledge. And what I like is it's usually unique stuff that most normal people don't devote as much time as he does to. Like he has a great understanding on things people don't really understand at all.
Yeah. I also don't think he understands it. But I think there's a difference between like knowing it and understanding it. I can have a lot of conversations, but I can't go deep dive into a lot of shit. But I can go around. I'm a good podcast guest
Like
because I can
once?
jump into anything and you say it. But like if we went deep diving into shit on certain, I can't. Oh, I don't know that much, but I'd like to hear your point on it. He at that point gets upset if you don't think he knows enough, and then starts to get argumentative in it.
3 is my number, I think. Conversations I could have at once.
Oh, I could have many more than that. I have ADHD. I could have 7. Yesterday, I seemed like a crazy. I was at an open mic, and I was talking to a comic I hadn't seen in a while, and another comic was standing to the side of me talking to someone else, and their conversation was just here, and then I was trying to talk to this guy. And at one point, I just went, "I have no idea what you just said. I can't not listen to this."
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Sorry." He goes, "Walk away." And the guy's like, "What?" I'm like, "Walk away," so I can hear him. He's like, "Oh, okay." And he walked away. I'm like, he did. He listened to me.
That might have been a bit much on your part.
I'm the legend when it comes to Connecticut open mics. I say that, and they go, "I'm an old ass man who can't hear well." I'd rather say that than be like, tell my friend I couldn't hear him. There was plenty of room in this place. For some reason, he was standing in my pocket, and he could have gone anywhere. It was a bar. It was a bar room that had 10 comics waiting for an open mic. Plenty of room to walk around.
You kick the door open. "Heads up, guys. Legends here. Give me my 6 feet of space."
Well, it's funny, like that certain area we were going to, this younger comic I went with, I had put a post up on Facebook saying, hey, I'm going to this mic in New Haven in case all the people that hate me are thinking of going there, let you know my presence will be there, whatever. They
Well,
got a lot of likes who were laughing
I
at it.
saw your D-Day World War II style tactics where you posted one mic so people would make their plans and then a last second pivot to a different beach.
That was because Dan Brown was supposed to bring me. This is the part where I'm a burden. Dan Brown was supposed to bring me to the Bloomfield one to go see Mo Green. That's his mic, former guest Mo Green. And then Dan was like, "Hey, I can't go. My emissions test passed, but they didn't online, like the registration thing for his new registration wasn't showing up. So that bothered. It's an hour drive. He's like, I don't want to risk that and get pulled over. And I'm
You're
like,
not
I
gonna
get
believe it,
that.
Pat. The bees are in the car. Bees are in the
Yeah.
car.
Fucking bees are all so he's like, I can't go. So I still wanted to go to a mic because I had shit to work on. And so I was like, hey, I hit this other kid, Andrew, are you going to a mic? He's like, I'm going to the New Haven one. And I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I'll go to that one, I guess. And that New Haven one, there are some people in that little area that have issue with me. A lot of comics, not a lot, I'd say, but there's a decent amount that have issue with me because of the whole thing that hurts comedy. People, and I'm not bragging, I never talk about like I do well, but I'm just saying I've gotten things that other comics haven't gotten. I believe it's through hard work and do whatever, but some comics it's easier for them just to go, fuck that guy. He got it because of this or that, whatever. So now I hate that guy. He's getting it for these other reasons, not for this or that, whatever. Or he's not even really that funny. Or he's not even really this, whatever. So they just get angry when they see me and then they don't speak to me or you see them get mad. It's just like, I don't want to live in that space. I want them to do their thing.
I mean,
I do. I don't care about them. The problem, it bothers them because I don't care, but I'm aware of it. And then the other group, the younger comics, are like, it's Pat. He's done this. He's done that. And I also don't want that. I just want to go to a mic and work on shit. So there's a couple of comics I know that just talk to me like a normal human being. Not, and believe me, people watching this outside of Connecticut are really like, Pat's pretending is a big deal. In small circle, I'm the big fish, small pond thing. That's what it is. And if I go to New York, meet Bobby, no one knows who the fuck I am. If I go to Boston and do shit, they don't. Some of them might know, but a big group doesn't know who I am. If I, it's not. I'm not saying that, but in this small area where I have been, like some of the young comics had said, I was mentioning another comic, a buddy of mine, Darren Rivera, very funny comic, and he goes, "How long's Darren been doing it?" I'm like, "Longer than me." And the comic wasn't even kidding. He goes, "I didn't know there was anybody left who's done it longer than you," because in our local scene, if guys start doing it for more than a couple of years, they stop going to open mics, or they try to move, or they quit. Like they don't keep doing it. It's all like they seem like I'm the guy who's been around forever. So I get that.
They get angry when they see you. Have you considered maybe like a new pair of glasses? Or like trimming up your beard? Maybe it's an aesthetic thing.
I've always had a beard. I think the glasses actually make me seem more knowledgeable and easier to approach.
I would agree with that. This isn't, hey, I love your look. This isn't a critique at all. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe that's what's going on here.
Oh, I don't want them to approach it. No, I know for a fact. Because then they go to other comics and go, fuck him. He thinks he's funny. He gets all these. He only gets to be a Mohegan's son because he knows that family because he used to work for them. He gets this because of that. I have to hear all the time. It's like, okay, so what? Who said if I didn't get that? No one said you were next in line.
And you also earned it. Like even if you got it from knowing that family, you know what it's like to put up with the broths? They're not a very calm group of people. They get set off easily. You know what I mean? You got to walk on eggshells sometimes. You're basically, what's that movie?
Osher eggshells.
Yeah. What's that movie with the guy who does the bombs in Afghanistan?
All of them?
It won that, like, all those awards. You're that. You're the guy who's doing IEDs in the road. So, yeah, you've earned it.
Hurt Locker?
Yeah, Hurt Locker. You're the Hurt Locker of comedy. You're walking around so, yeah, you've earned it. Even if it's
not even that. And even if I did get handed shit, so what? You're mad at me? Hey, Matt, get mad at people that hand me shit.
But I do think there is a lot of it, too, that you are probably one of the better level comedians who still does open mics, if not the best in that area.
I don't know why they do. It's fun. And why would you want to work? Listen, I've got you and I'm not saying anything yet, but like I might have a thing coming up. And if I do, I'm working on, and if I don't, I'm working on a new hour. I watch these comics doing the same jokes. It's like, how are you having fun? To me, the best part of comedy is creating.
Yeah,
taking
absolutely.
a dumb idea and making it. I don't care if people enjoy themselves. I hate comics who say my favorite part is knowing I'm bringing laughs to them and changing their day. Fuck off, you lying sack of shit. Yeah, they're supposed to laugh. That's the react. I don't care about their day. If they laugh, that's me playing a video game, and that's how I get scores. Like my points are ha 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 ha, and that's how I move on to the next level. But my whole thing is I took a dumb idea in my head. I fucking worked on it. I wrote, I edited, I changed things. I did all this stuff. I blood, sweat, and chuckles, whatever. And I did all the shit I have to do. And I made it into a joke that hits with everybody. And I continue to do that. That's an awesome fucking feeling. The creativity is what I like about it. I don't give a fuck about them feeling good.
No, I just want
Oh,
people
look,
to
I
laugh.
made them happy. The couples, they're in love now because of my jokes.
Yeah, and like if there's a difference between an open mic and like a club pay to play open mic too. Like I have no issue going to open mics. Anytime I'm back in Harrisburg, I go see Mike Manny and them. But if I'm at Broadway and it's like, hey, pay $5 to come do time at 3 p.m. on a Thursday, and your choice is like that or doing a podcast with somebody, then I go, okay, you know what I mean? Like that's where
I
it
get
starts to
that.
come
We
in.
only have one of those around here, and that's the Stress Factory one in Bridgeport. And you got to pay $5, and you have to buy 2 items of food or drink.
That's
So
that's
you're
how a lot of these are.
so Dan Brown and I will be like, we're gonna go, but do we feel like spending $35? Because that's basically what you're dropping to do 5 minutes in front of. Sometimes they get an audience. It's not a bad thing. I get why young comics do it. If I got something to work on, what used to be good was on Wednesdays, there used to be this really dope mic that was like 25 minutes from there that started a little later. So Dan and I would get there early, go first at the Stress Factory one, and
Head
then
to the
head
next one.
over and go to the second one. And I can work on a bit twice. That was worth it. So you pay $5 for one, but then I got to spend shit the second one. I always try to buy something, but all I buy is coffee and water. And half these places don't even have bottled water. So it's like, what if they don't have coffee? What am I buying? A bag of chips? Like I try to support, but like, so I get like I go to the Stress Factory and I'm buying 2 cups of coffee. The coffee cup I usually drink out of is a Stress Factory mug because you can get the unlimited cup and pay $10. I'm like, I don't need that many, but I feel bad, so I own a cup from the comedy club so I can just buy the minimum of whatever.
Yeah, it's tough, and like there is some like validity to going and showing your face, and that's how you get in. But you know, I get people who are like, I'm not doing that route. There are a lot of comedians in New York who people listening to this will never hear of, but that make a very good living hosting open mics. They've been doing it for 10 years. They've got 6 a day, and they just boom, boom, boom. And they're the ones making, you know what I mean? Like the money off of that, and that's how they keep
When
it
I
going.
started, I got to go do a couple New York ones. And like when I first started, I would go up there. And the first one I was ever on, I want to say it was a bringer. I think I did a bringer open mic type. It was like a showcase
Yeah.
thing. Someone hit me. I didn't know anything about it yet. It was like my 3rd or 4th time doing anything. And I went, and the host was a guy, I think he's still around. PD Dieb. It's like a D bro or something like that. I don't know. He'd been around for a while, but he just hosted open mics all the time.
I think he goes by Pete Comedy now.
All right, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Hawaiian
It was
shirt.
him and then Mad Dog, who's now just James Mattern. But Mad Dog was the guy who every time you went to a mic or a showcase up there, anything I did Caroline's and it wasn't a bringer, and I my first time on there, he did that one. All mics, just Mad Dog.
Do you remember the story I told about with Carucci on about the guy going, "What's up? You guys are Hell's Angels, right? The pagans."
Right.
That was Mad Dog Mattern.
Yeah, I've known Mad Dog for a while.
Yeah, no, I just if you do comedy in Jersey, New York long enough, you cross. He's one of those guys. He's a great dude, very funny, but a little crazy.
Yeah. But I think everyone should be all crazy to be like hosting all open mics and bringer and then hoping to get your comedy career going too. You know what I mean? So it's like, and he's a funny guy. So I'm not trying to shit on anyone doing that. But I'm just saying like that kind of thing, hosting that stuff. But like paying for open mics, to me, I don't care if I pay for it or don't pay for it. If I have something to work on and the only place to go to is something that does that, I don't get mad at the club. But then again, I ran clubs, so I understand why some places do it because like, so yesterday I go to this open mic in New Haven and it's a separate room from the bar. And we're all back, just the comics are back there, but they put out 3 pitchers of water for the comedians. And that makes me insane. It's like, don't do that. You have a business, you're letting the open mic happen. These fucks are just going to sit here and drink water for free. Like, as a comic, I'm like, oh, cool. But, like, then why let us there? It's not drawing people in. People are not going to that room. They're at the bar area so they can talk and watch football. It's fucking Monday night. So if we're going to be over there anyway, walk over, have a wait. When I do the one at Retro now, I'm Gary, don't give us anything. Like, and then people buy food, they do whatever. They got they're buying drinks. I'm not trying to say we're making them do that, but like, get something out of it. I'm bringing you 10 to 12 people. get him to buy an empanada or some Coke, thing of Coke or a drink or whatever, and do that. The other mic I do, the one on once Monday a month, they give out pitchers of water. I'm like, you're gonna make no money. They're not even gonna get up. They're gonna sit here and drink the water, do their 2 jokes, and fucking leave. You're dumb.
Yeah, no, it's got to be a money making opportunity for the bar as well.
Yeah, well, that's the whole reason of doing it is to say, hey, I'm bringing you something.
But like putting that aside is like if it feels like it's a chore to be like you're making people almost feel uncomfortable being there. So they are going to just do their time and leave. You need to make it an atmosphere where you're rewarded for hanging, whether it be through fun or I used to work for a promoter who would do the same kind of thing, a bringer show, open mic type thing, but to make sure people stayed at the end of the show, he'd pick the 3 comedians he thought did best and give them an extra 5 at the end of the show as like a headline or encore set. And it seems stupid, but you stayed if you thought you had a good set. And you know what I mean? And like it keeps people there.
Incentive at the end of the day, all comics want is to feel like somebody believes in them.
Yeah, exactly.
What I remember Petey's name is because after doing that bringer thing, he said to me, "Great set." Now, I'm sure he said it to every single comic, but I remembered that because to me, that was a guy who worked in New York who was a real comedian. I'm not saying he's not, but I didn't know any different.
You know how many times I broke down on a highway of tears of joy, like I'm finally a real comedian because somebody who didn't matter at all was like, "Hey, dude, good stuff tonight." You're like, "Fuck yeah, I'm finally a real comedian." Or you got the old, "Hey, man, I know you're coming from Hershey, so I'll throw you like $20 for gas next show I book you on." And you're like, "That's it, baby. Yep. I'm a pro." And you're like, none of it matters, but it's
I try to do that stuff. Going on. Like now I'm appreciative of that shit because I drove around doing shit. Like when I did my birthday show, I had the same young kid who drove me to New Haven. I say young, but he's just a newer comic. He was doing a guest spot. It was his first time ever on a show. He had just done open mics. So I let him do like 7 minutes, whatever. I said, do between 5 and 10, whatever you feel. I think he did like 7 or 8. And we did well. The show, we almost sold it up. I had some people buying it to the door. Mostly it was like Eventbrite and shit. But at the door, I got some cash. So I threw him $20. I was like, I never I was like, okay. And he's like, "What's this for?" I'm like, "Thanks."
You performed.
And he was fucking psyched just because he was like, he goes, "I didn't expect to get any money." I know. But my hope is to get, when I have one guest spot, that I throw them at least $20. I'm not going to throw you more, but like I'll throw you something to say like, "Hey, there's value in what you did."
As much as his name's been dragged through the mud, one of the best people at that is Gino Bisconti. Like he not only pays you, he overpays you for gigs. Like there have been times where I've heard like how much money he's getting, and he's given me over 50%. Hey, you drove, great shit. You know what I mean? And you're sitting there going, all right, at least there's one person who values me at what I think. You know what I mean? Like, and it's never about the money necessarily, but it's more about the respect or the.
How tall is Gino?
Probably 6 foot. He's about your height.
How much does he weigh?
Oh, 135-ish.
Okay, I just watched the podcast with all the Gino drama. I watched the podcast where they were sizing up someone else's size to say like how big they were and how much they would beat them up. And I'm not starting any shit, but I'm 6 feet, 220, and I like Gino. Just saying.
Yeah. And I'm 5'6", 225. And here's one thing: I'm an athlete.
You're a fire hydrant.
I'm an athlete. I'm athletic.
Yeah. And I also don't want to, every other comic, don't want to fight anybody, but let's stop with the whole, let's take drama and make more drama. If you can't think of a topic to talk about on your podcast, don't do the podcast.
Yeah, here's what.
If your podcast has to be like, where there's a fighting and drama, I don't want that fighting drama, but let's talk about it. I don't know. The people involved in it, go ahead. I'm not even shitting on them. If you're involved in it, if you have a right to be upset and angry, and I'm not even trying to bring up the names, but you don't have to say anything. I'm going to say one thing, and that's it. You don't have to get involved at all. I 100% get Kevin Brennan being mad. I get it. I understand it. And I understand that because in my time in life, there was a time earlier in my life where I would get angry, upset when somebody was doing shit that's a little fucked up. Now, I know there's nothing behind it, but if someone gave out my personal information, I'd be just as mad. And I do believe that as much as people like, oh, he did this, he did that, he handled it way more professionally in the long haul than he could have, because there could have been real broken things or real things happening and all that shit. I get it, and I understand that. And also, Kevin's an older guy who's doing comedy. He's going into a place that fired him at one point. It's as I'm a manic person, so I get other manic people, and for him to have to go in there and then go, here's this shit, here's whatever. I'm coming in here. I'm probably not getting a lot of money. I'm gonna get like $100 to sit here on Thursdays, and now I got to deal with my phone number being out here. And I gave this guy a gig on the show, and he didn't like. I don't know all the drama, but I get that part. But when anyone else wants to get involved in it, step the fuck off. He can do his thing. Third parties getting in because they want to be like, oh, look, I'm on a podcast and people like me. Like, you're burning bridges. I know it's the name of his podcast. I didn't even go that way, but that was his whole podcast. But you're going to burn bridges when you choose sides. There's no sides. Two grown men had a disagreement. Let it go. Let's not make it war games. Let's not pick sides to go, well, my crew can fight your crew. What's the point? A bunch of people not getting booked. A bunch of white men just fighting and not getting booked. That's what's happening.
It would be
me
fun
included.
If comedy ended a gangster rap era.
It did. What was that show in the Cannon?
It's still on Wild 'N Out.
Yeah.
But like, no, it'd be cool if like, oh shit, that's Gomez's car. Oh fuck, it's the Gas Boys. And then just hear, brace yourself, fool. And a bunch of Gas Digital people are shooting at the Riot Cast crew.
I don't want shooting.
Compound won't be involved in drive-bys. We're more of a turtle and hold the fortress, if you know what I'm saying.
The Compound would be known as Clint Eastwood Media. It would just get off my lawn.
I'd like a raise and just be like, how fast do you think you are?
I also think that Kumi would finally move down south before the shooting happened.
I also, just before we move on real quick, if it was an isolated incident, I'd go, yeah, I'm 100% with you. But I think if things happen in repetition, you start to see a pattern of behavior. And maybe
Which one? Which one? They both have them.
That's what I'm saying. So like, you just had two people who, like, it was almost an inevitability. That's all.
But one's a needler, and one is known to not be able to handle needles. You know what I mean? I love Gino, but he's a needler.
Oh, I was saying the other way around. Like,
I know what you're saying, but I'm saying Gino is kind of like,
game is to rope-a-dope you, get you so angry you attack him.
I don't think so. I don't know him, so I can't say this. But when I watch him, I get it, because I think my personality is similar to his when I watch it. I just think he's somebody who fucking thinks that everybody's already giving him shit, so he's already kind of going in, and then all the people that he's ever had like scuffles with or arguments with are fucking needlers. And also I say that because like Gary Goldman gave me shit at open mic years ago. When I heard Kevin go, I'm like, I get it. That guy was mean to me for no fucking reason. I was at a Boston mic and he bumped me and then gave me shit. And I saw he probably doesn't even remember, because it's just a day in his life. But he gave me shit. Like, who are you? You think you're going to go on after me? At an open mic at the Green Dragon in Boston 10 years ago? Who gives a shit? So like, that old thing, like where you always feel like everyone's against you anyway, and everyone's always expecting you to be the angry fuck like me. So I get it. I'm like, so maybe I'll be what they want me to be, and I'll do this thing, whatever. I guess no one's respecting me unless I make a stink. I don't even care about their whole thing, but I know Gino, so I like him. I don't know Kevin, but I respect both of them in one way or the other.
They're both great comics,
I've obviously never seen Kevin perform. I've heard and I've watched things, and he's a great comic.
I think I've said it on here. Like, he's the one who got me into Mohegan Sun. He gave me a guest spot on my birthday weekend. Was like, yeah, come out both nights, man. I'll make it work. I got in. The guy who runs it was like, hey, man, you want to? You know what I mean? Like, so I got to work with him. He's hilarious. So is Gino. Like, they're different styles. They're both great. It does make you miss the days of like Kaufman, where the only time you saw Andy Kaufman was to be funny. Sure, it was like stupid. It was out there.
I think he was also trying to piss people off too.
Oh, definitely, but it was a shtick. It was like you knew when you saw Kaufman, it was a shtick, always, and it was. And great.
By the way, I'm a hypocrite, so I want to say that out loud. I realized the second I started doing it, I said only morons on their podcast talk about drama to fucking fill time, and then I literally did that for 58 minutes. So yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking moron. I get it. I'm a nobody.
Well, let's put out this fire, and we'll change pivot. Do you ever hear the stat that 8 out of 10 deaths of firefighters are Americans?
8 out of
10
10?
firefighter deaths in the worldwide
So
are American.
80% of firefighter deaths
Hmm.
are American firefighters.
Yeah, and I saw.
So it's happening in America, or they're Americans and they could be overseas or something.
No, well, I guess it could be that. And like the show I was watching tried to say it was a hero complex. Like Americans, even though we have just as good equipment and everything else, we're heroes. So we rush into situations and try to save the day. But I think a more important statistic, right, is that 2 out of every 3 firefighters in the U.S. are volunteers. So maybe if Jimbo didn't have to work a job at Dick's all day and then run over to put out your grease fire, he would be a little less likely to fuck up. Plus, if he's working at Dick's like me, I get it. There have been days if I had to go put out a fire and the choice was burn to death or go back to Dick's, I'm laying on the ground, baby.
Where did this stat come from?
A show called Lie to Me.
Oh, it was a TV show that you saw and there was a thing. So it might not be accurate.
No,
Maybe we're just bad at putting out fires.
No, I think it's.
I'm guessing we have more fires than everybody else.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or we also react to them probably sooner, so therefore we get burnt. Like in India, something blows up. They're like, all right.
Let it stop. Yeah. Let it stop.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
We don't have any water to put it out with. We're pooping in it.
That kind of and it was like the cunty psychologist who was yelling it at a guy who was trying to save some buried construction workers. So she may have just been making it up too. They do that a lot on the show. Their job's to see who's lying, so they just lie to people.
Oh, they could have been lying with that stat.
Yeah. You ever wanted to
like
see
when 8 out of 10 dentists agree? When do they get together and agree on shit?
Never. I found out recently. My dad was like, "Hey, this name sounds familiar. Do you remember this kid from high school?" And his name, he said the name Taylor, and I was like, "Yeah, I do. Why?" He's like, "Oh, he's subbing in for my dentist," and I just responded, "Run." And he was like, "Why?" And I was like, he's not going to be good under pressure, Dad."
Like that, I never want to hear the word subbing in. No, you don't call it a substitute dentist. He's the dentist. He's the house dentist of the day or something. I don't know. He's traveling or something like that. I don't want to hear substitute dentist ever.
He's like, "Well, what do you mean? What could go wrong?" I was like, "Just you better hope he doesn't have to drill because he never hit a goddamn hole in his life." And he was like, "Bob, you seem like really over the top angry." And this kid, Pat, I remember in high school, I was a junior, he was a sophomore, and he missed the hole in football. I was a lineman, and came back to the huddle and was like, "You guys better learn how to fucking block." I just grabbed him by the face mask and was like, "Hey, listen, you change your attitude right now, or I can assure you I'm not blocking for you the rest of the game. I will line up and tell him exactly where you're running the football and then get out of my way." And the coach had to call a timeout and separate us. So the reason I say all that is dentists are the #1 suicide profession in the country. And boy, I hope, Taylor, if you're listening to this, you go and follow suit.
The #1 suicide is dentists?
Because you put in all this work and think you're like this grand professional, and then you find out guys like me can just not show up for 3 years and have no cavities because it turns out all you have to do is brush and floss.
But I don't think I'd kill myself. You still get paid. You don't get paid by you don't get paid by the customer.
I think you do.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You're not clocking in. You're a fucking dentist.
You own your own dentist thing, dude. So it's like
literally
some do,
but some
patient,
work
really.
for guys. There's more than one dentist
dude,
here.
How bad of a dentist do you have to be to work for somebody?
Taylor, the substitute dentist.
Yeah, he should. He sucks.
Yeah, when I go, there's always a main Chinese, and then there's some ladies.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah. Chinese and the ladies. By the way, speaking of that, do you know who Shang Wang is?
No.
He's a stand-up comedian. He's got a Netflix special. I have heard of him, and I met him years ago. But he was back then. He was doing some Boston shit. I think he's from Houston originally, but he would have he looked like a regular Chinese guy. Like he looked like if you were gonna make like a Korean fucking movie, TV show, and you had a business guy. He had like the glasses and the short hair, put the comb over, and all that shit, right? But in the last couple of years, he's grown his hair super long like a hippie and got like a weird mustache. And dude, I'm telling everyone here, watch his special. Don't have to watch the whole thing. And I'm not saying it's not funny. It's funny. But I want you to watch this and tell me I'm wrong with this assessment. It's Chinese Mitch Hedberg. He stole the inflection of the voice. It's not so much one-liners. But it's like jokes that are odd, and it's just like I think they realize, okay, Mitch Hedberg's dead. No one's gonna call out a Chinese guy for being Mitch Hedberg. Like you'd call out a white guy, so they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, you can't say it's Chinese, but it's fucking Chinese Mitch Hedberg, dude. It's fucking crazy. It's Chinese Mitch Hedberg.
Now, what separates ripping off Mitch Hedberg from ripping off, say, like Confucius? Confucius says
Confucius didn't have a special. He didn't license or patent anything. He just went around saying shit and some guy wrote it down. Mitch's jokes are on an album.
Right, but only because somebody had maybe nobody had the foresight to record Confucius.
They didn't have the equipment. It wasn't even the foresight. They didn't even have like. I just want to see how I can derail your bit.
maybe I'm trying to think of foresight, Chinese vision, something's there.
John Forsythe, wasn't that a guy?
I hear he's Visions 2020 and I don't know.
That's John Forsythe.
That's pretty good.
It's the worst ever. But yeah, I started watching that. I started watching 4 different specials, and I don't usually give up. I gave up on 4 specials.
Netflix, it's been a rough go of it as of
well, just the Netflix over there. I watched a couple on YouTube, and I tried Phil Hanley's. I like Phil Hanley. I just wasn't for me. It just didn't work. Someone showed me how I found it on YouTube, but it's already gone. But there was like a free version of Robert Kelly's.
Okay.
And I watched a little bit, and yeah. It was I
love Bobby Kelly, so
no, and he's fucking talented. I'm not saying all these guys, anyone that gets a special is talented. You know what I mean? Like there's people behind. If anyone, I'll never say someone's not funny. Like if there's management behind you, people are making money off you, if they're investing in you, then you've got a talent in one way or the other. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but it's someone's tea because they're selling the tea. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't know. My comedy has to have a little more substance than like, remember when we can hit kids? Now we can't hit kids. And it's like that for 10 minutes. I'm like, all right. I mean, like,
yeah, I do remember when we could hit kids.
It's like, I still like to hit them. I'm like, I like to shake them. I'm like, oh, that sounds a lot like Chris Rock. I know you're not doing Chris Rock. No, it's not a woman. It's a kid. It's an sketch and not stripper or whatever. But like, I'm not saying you're taking it. It just sounds generic. And I'm like, yeah, you're fucking Bobby Kelly. Like you can, but like, and I'm not shitting on it. It's just that there's so many specials that I think we become jaded. That's the problem. They used to be special. So I'd watch a couple a year and you'd be like, this is amazing. I'm getting to watch their act. But now there's so much content out there. I think it's me, the asshole, going, this isn't as good as this or this or that. I can watch a different special every fucking day. And they're not even specials. They're just advertisements for them touring at this point.
Somebody said on my special, Bobby's World, that the only Bobby they're watching tonight is Bobby Kelly's Killbox. So I hope they enjoyed it.
Yeah. And it's actually cheaper than getting subscription to Compound Media. So it worked out for them.
Well, Bobby's World's free on YouTube. Head over there. Check it out now.
Yeah, you can watch that one out there. But if they were over on Compound, because those people were also talking about how much they loved other Compound things.
Yeah, they're big Compound people.
Those comments are fucking amazing. We should just post those.
We're that's gonna be addressed. Don't worry.
On the next one.
Yeah.
With Mike. So, yeah, we're gonna do another episode this week.
No.
On the show.
I would imagine.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say I took it like water off my back, but one member of our crew did some deep diving on some of those people who made comments and had some thoughts on the situation.
Dude, speaking of that, did you catch any of the shit with Andrew Schultz and the Kanye stuff? All right, so most people know that Kanye said some crazy ass, fucking wild out shit. Some was anti-Semitic, some was about George Floyd dying of fentanyl, some was and I forget what the third thing. It was all crazy shit. So the Flagrant show did their thing. Where at the beginning, Schultz did one of his like classic rants where he does like they show pictures and he just like fucking rattles off a million fucking of the most killer references you ever heard, like he does.
I did see a little bit of him doing that.
That was awesome. Then they did a regular show for a while, but the whole show itself caught a lot of flack because one of the big things was going after the Kanye saying about the fentanyl thing, how dumb that is. And so people started saying, you better watch the Candace Owens documentary, whatever. So then they forced him to. So he was like, he wouldn't watch it. He's like, I guess. He goes, first of all, I fuck all you guys for making me watch a documentary, but like doing all that. But he said at the very beginning, he goes, I want everyone here that wrote me comments upset at what I talked about. Everyone that fucking went to my DMs or fucking went on YouTube and did that. I want you to know that your mother can suck my dick. I want you to understand that I want her to go from behind and suck it from behind, put her mouth in my asshole so the balls slap from behind. I want your mother, all you people that wrote that. And they were talking about like what he wanted to do, and he's like, literally, we had to stop Andrew from. He was gonna put pictures up of all the people that commented, and then roast their faces. And he's like, yeah, they're ugly.
Yeah.
But dude, it was so crazy. Like, here he is, Schultz. He's like, I guess I can't do that. It was like, he goes, but I want you all to know, and I'm clear, your mother, the woman that made you, can suck my dick from the back.
That's a fight, man.
Dude, it was awesome the way he just went on. I was like, whoa.
Has Ye responded to him?
No, it wasn't about Ye.
Oh.
He's talking about all the people that commented.
No, I know, but like he originally
shit.
talked about Ye.
Yeah, but Ye doesn't pay attention to shit like that. He doesn't care.
He got angry at other comedians.
Oh,
didn't Pete take one of Schultz's girlfriends at one point too?
I don't know. I don't follow any of that drama. Enemy? I just like the fucking. I like Schultz when he goes off on rants.
Hell yeah.
I'm a rants guy. I like that when they have the talented little rant fucking fun things. It's a good time. What are we gonna do on the other podcast? We're gonna have Dan Brown and Mike O'Donnell. They've been together.
I don't know if they have, but I think the Bees part 2 probably.
I mean, I don't know if Dan wants to talk about the Bees. I mean, I don't think it's gonna cover an hour again, but I think.
Oh no, and then we've got all those stories from the porn chick. The last time we had O'Donnell on, we just chatted with him. He was like, "Man, can we do stories next time? I kind of missed that." Yeah. So he wants to do.
He doesn't like us. He doesn't want to have a conversation with me.
No, I think he really likes the format. I think he likes the format because it lets his writing and sniping shine.
Yeah, he is good at that, and Dan's good. But Dan's good at stories too. He was goofy. Yeah, so we'll do stories on that one.
Yeah,
we don't even have. The fun thing is we don't even have to do like an hour for this. We can stop this now.
Yeah,
and
I'd say
breaks.
We're at like 43 minutes. Get a nice little 20-minute break here.
I might order a pizza.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've been hitting the gym and I'm like been losing weight. I'm like, I deserve food.
I've been thinking I really should like do something about my mental health, and people are like therapy, and I'm like, yeah, or I could just buy my own squat rack in the attic and build my own gym and get
that's
jacked.
Mental health.
Yeah, that's
do that. Meditation works, man. Rick Rubin, it fucking changed his entire fucking life.
Nice. I'm dabbled.
But I was saying about Rick Rubin is like pretty well known and a famous man, and he does great. But he's also just known for being a goof. That's what I love. Like everyone's like, "Oh, just let him walk around and be like," because he'll just once in a while say something brilliant, like, "Hey Jay-Z, how about you do acapella?" And then it goes, "Bam! 99 problems in a bitch A1." And if you've seen that video, it's great. Like when they talk about that moment. But the best part is Jay-Z walking around his house or whatever, doing that album, and he just goes, "Yo, man. Where else you gonna see just like a llama walking around? This N-word's got a llama." It's just like insane. It's and like when they helped out the Chili Peppers and do Under the or Give It Away, he's just sitting with Flea and Flea's playing bass. He goes, "Hey man, just pull back. You ain't gotta go that hard." To like bow, 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 bow. And that famous bass line of Give It Away was him just going. That's all he did. He just sat there with just go bow, 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 bow.
That's it, baby. Bow, bow.
This guy makes millions.
And that's what this podcast was. It was just us toning back a little bit, stripping it down, going bow bow.
And then making sure we got one little nugget for people to hear about when our 2 or 3 of our little vultures who hang out in Patreon. That's where this will be. Tell people, hey, there's a thing about Kevin Brennan.
But there really
and then Kevin Brennan will find out and go, yeah, that guy I don't know from Connecticut said positive things about me again.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is fine. I know people that, but I don't really watch his podcast. Listen, this podcast I don't watch much, but I'll watch them with drama because some guys are good at it. I don't know what it is. I love Kevin Brennan when he talks about drama. I know what I watch. I've watched way too much Red Bar.
Oh boy.
And only because they're talking about people I know. So when he's like, broke ass Gino, or calls Kumi a Nana, dude, I can't not watch. And he calls him Nana. When Gumia was playing video games and got mad at his girlfriend, and they broke down that video from his apartment, and he's like, "Look at how poor he is." Like, I know it's not even true, but it's just like, and he stops the thing and he circles. He goes, "It's a one-room apartment." What's happened? He's like, "Why does he have to wait to sell his home? Rich people just buy another home. You don't sell it." And even though it's not true, it's just like, yeah, you're right. He's just so good. And he's not like really talented or doing anything. He's just, like I said, the needle thing. And I hate being needled. I hate needlers. But man, when they're good at it, I can watch it forever. I watch so much of it. I watch mostly things of people shitting on people you work with. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, oh, there's people, Bobby. Like when Brendan was like, yeah, remember when Schultz sucks? I'm like, Bobby, well, Bill's great. How is Bill? We haven't talked to him in a while.
He's doing well.
We gotta have him back on.
Yeah, I'll hit him up.
I want to have Joanne on too.
I'm sure
Do you
she'd
think she would do it?
Yeah.
They can come on together if they want.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
I think she'd be great. I think she's fucking hilarious and just so talented. Whenever I watch that,
she's
great.
very, very talented.
I haven't watched much Compound recently, but I find myself now watching more because I don't know, she's just different than everyone else on.
Yeah, they're
and
very
yes, she's
soft.
hot. I'm not saying it because of that. I can watch people that are attractive and dudes. I don't know if people say she's just fucking. Her humor is good. She's dry, but she's also quick.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a fun kind of start to your morning. It's a good way to get,
especially
news,
for that that channel, because a lot of the humor is everyone's talented, but a lot of it's the same kind of humor.
Yep.
That's just a whole different thing.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And everyone on that channel's talented. I don't know. That's someone else. Like, well, what about the other people? They're all the greatest. I don't know. If you don't want drama, you could just have our show on there. Maybe the viewers would go down, but the humor would go up, and there'd be no fighting or arguing. Because Bobby and I wouldn't care.
No, and if I get uncomfortable, I just get quiet.
Yeah, and it's like, who's gonna fight with our guest? It's always Dan Brown.
The bees, apparently.
We'd have a Dan Brown and a beekeeper on, and they would discuss.
Oh, they get into it.
I would do that. That'd be great. All right, let's end this.
You can't. Yeah, if you can't join them,
we don't even need to plug things. You know what we do.
Yeah, you're on the Patreon. You're a super fan. Thanks for being.
We appreciate you. You're awesome.
If you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.